Hello, everyone. Welcome to FME Form Basic, Day 1. Nice to see everyone checking in from around the world. I'm coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, which is pretty near Safe Software's headquarters in Surrey, BC. And it's great to see people from all around the world here. Good job for those of you attending in other time zones. It's probably sort of a strange time of day, but hopefully we can keep you all engaged over this 5-day course. I'm Sam Walker. I'm the, I guess my title just recently changed, Senior Customer Education Manager here at Safe Software. And on the call today as well, we have Ryan Craig, our Senior Technical Trainer, and Kaylin is here as well, who will be assisting as a training assistant. Here's an agenda for what we'll cover today. First, we'll start off with some housekeeping, talk a little bit about the course itself and the platform we're using to deliver it, which is called STO. Then we'll introduce the FME Academy and make sure everyone is signed up for that, since that's where you'll be accessing the instructions for all the interactive exercises. And then we will cover 2 of the, we call them courses in the Academy, but it seems a bit silly to attend a course and do multiple courses. So I'll probably just call them sections, which would be why data integration and connect to data. I should note, for those of you who have taken our Integrate Data with the FME Platform course, there is some overlap with this course. We want to ensure everyone is up to speed, so we cover 3 of the modules or sections from that other course in FME Form Basic. So if you've taken it before, there might be some review. Feel free to stay and do it again, just as a refresher, particularly if you haven't taken it since it was updated to FME 2023. If you've taken the Integrate course recently, you could consider just coming back tomorrow, sort of midway through. We'll be moving on to some new content, and the rest of the week we'll be continuing that. So just so you're aware, there is a little bit of overlap with the Integrate Data course. So some more housekeeping here. The event, will be running this for approximately 4 hours a day. Sometimes we're a little under. Hopefully we won't be anything over. And that will be taking place over the next 5 days. And I'll try to run a 5 or 10 minute break about each hour. If you see that I've gone well over that, please feel free to let me know, or Ryan, he'll be presenting later this week. Let us know in the chat and we'll make sure to give you a break. We're using STO as our platform to deliver this live course. You'll be able to access an interactive FME lab directly here in your browser. So you don't need your own copy of FME on your machine. And in fact, we'd suggest not using your own copy of FME because the one we are providing through STO is set up to work for the course. So it's already got the data loaded and everything like that. So I'd really recommend using STO. I'll make a brief note, the lab, there might be a little bit of delay every now and then. It is using remote desktop through the browser. So it's not quite as fast as using it, using FME normally installed on your own machine. But we think the convenience of having it ready to go, installed, licensed with all the right data, the right version, should hopefully make that smooth for you. We will share a recording after this course. There are currently recordings for FME Form Basic from last year on the Academy. You'll see those when we work through the content. There's definitely been some changes. For the most part, there'll be a lot of similarities. So you can use those recordings to refer to in the meantime if you want. What we usually do is we'll share an unedited version of the recording this week, early next week. And then over the coming months, you should see an edited version of the course come out. And that'll be available on the Academy. Here is a little guide to your STO platform, the buttons you might see. So on the top left, you should see a hand icon. And if you mouse over that, you have options to raise your hand or call for lab assistance. We don't really pay attention to the raise hands function because we don't find it super useful. We don't call on people, so it's not really the best way to get our attention. The better ways to get our attention are to post a question in the chat, which it's great to see. I see many of you have found. That's on the right there. You can post questions there, and we'll do our best to answer those as we go along. And the other way to get our attention is, again, over that hand button in the top left, the lab assistance button, which looks a little bit like a lifesaver or life buoy icon. If you click that, you get added to a queue, and then we'll come and have a look at your FME lab. We can see what you're working on. We can show you what to do. We can do a one-on-one call. That's really the best way. If you're getting stuck, please use that call for assistance button, and we will come give you a hand. Below the hand icon on the left is the navigation pane. It contains different sections of the course. Right now we're on the slide section. I should say I am on the slide section and you're looking what I'm doing. And I could change the section. There's a whiteboard. We don't really use the whiteboard or code snippets section. We will be using the lab section. We'll be coming back here in a little bit to show you your FME lab. But you can also navigate these sections independently. So for example, if you'd like to go over to your lab and then come back to the slides, you can do that. The main thing to remember is that as soon as you go and change something in Strigo, go somewhere else, then you will no longer be following what I'm doing. And so if you want to come back and see what I'm doing, I guess I'll just show you this. If you're watching, there's a follow presenter button in the top left. So when that's toggled on, you'll be seeing what I'm presenting. So as I switch these slides back and forth, you should see the slides changing if you have follow presenter enabled. And that lets you follow along with what I'm doing. But then at any point, you can go and do your own thing and just hit that when you're ready to come back. I'll do my best to remind you to turn follow presenter on after our interactive exercises. But if you're hearing me talk and you're not seeing anything, first thing to check, make sure that follow presenter is enabled. If you're still not seeing anything, you can try refreshing your Strigo tab. That seems to fix a lot of issues, and it will actually remember your progress and everything like that, so you don't need to worry about what will happen if you refresh. We recommend doing that if you run into any audio or video issues. Another place to go if you have audio or video problems is the bottom left. There's a question mark icon. You can click to get help with your audio and video. If you have a minute, it's not a bad idea to just make sure that Google Chrome or whatever browser you're using, we recommend Chrome, has access to your camera and audio, because if you do need some help one-on-one, it would be great if you could have those turned on. That audio and video help button can help you do that. Obviously, I'm up here. I'm your instructor. Hello. Below me is the chat pane. You can see there is a public chat where everybody can say hello and talk and ask questions. There are also direct messages, which admittedly are a little harder to find. Those are available in the chat pane. On the right-hand side, there's a button that lets you browse everybody in the course and send direct messages. Do have a look at that, because sometimes we'll direct message you if you have questions. It's a good idea to keep an eye on that. You should see a little red icon if you have an unread message there. So keep an eye on that icon over on the chat pane for direct messages. I've already mentioned the follow presenter button. Thanks, Ryan, for that indication. Basically, yeah, when I'm talking, make sure follow presenter is enabled so you'll see what I'm showing you. And then the final button that you need to know about, which is pretty important, is My Lab. So that appears on the left-hand side of your screen, and it looks like a cloud with a little beaker. It's called an Erlenmeyer flask. I forget what those are called, but it's got a little lab beaker in there. So that icon is what you can click to go access FME. So we'd recommend that as the way to use FME today rather than a local installation, because like I said, that environment is set up for the course. And as soon as you click that, remember you're off doing your own thing. You're no longer following presenter. So if you want to come back and see me, hit that follow presenter button. How the course will work is I'll talk for a while, demonstrate some things, tell you some information, and then I'll actually turn my audio and video off while you complete independent exercises. And so you'll get the chance to work through those, interactively work with FME, follow the instructions, and then myself, Ryan, and Kaylin will be available to come and help and answer questions. So we'll sort of do this back and forth style where I'll talk about what you're going to do, I'll show you, and then you can go and do it. And so I wouldn't actually recommend trying to follow along if I'm demonstrating and do the exercise right along with me, because I'm going to be going too fast. I'm just sort of giving you an overview and a demonstration, some things to look out for. And then you can go do it independently, and you should have sufficient time to do that. So just keep that in mind. You're not expected to follow along with every move of my mouse. Rather, we do this sort of back and forth style. This is roughly what your lab will look like when you go over there. You'll see FME, and in fact, it should already be open by the time you get over there once you've given it about 10 minutes to start up. There is a copy and paste button up near the top of your lab above the actual lab view itself. And you can use that to copy and paste between your STO machine and your local machine. Don't usually need to do that, but every now and then we'll share a file path or a URL or something, and you might want to open it up on your STO machine. You can't just simply copy and paste between the two. You have to use that button, which basically gives you an intermediary text box. So it's a text box. You can paste into that from your machine, and then if you copy from there, it'll be available on your STO machine and vice versa. There is also another button on your lab there, which is the Open External Lab button, which you can use to pop that lab out into a separate window. We don't really recommend using that a lot. If you have a second display, it might be helpful for you to have your lab over there. But like I said, we're not expecting you to follow along step by step as I'm demonstrating. So you don't need to be able to have your lab and, for example, my screen displayed at the same time. It's just for your convenience. If you prefer that, you can do it that way. A common problem, like I should say, two common problems people run into using the STO labs, just to give you a heads up. One is that when you go to your lab, the screen might be quite cramped or small, and that might make it hard to use FME because we do have quite a lot of objects on the canvas and buttons to click on. So if you're finding that your view in your lab is too small, you can adjust your browser zoom settings. That's usually the easiest way to fix that by zooming out, which would be Control or Command and the minus key. You would note that it does also change the scaling, for example, of the chat. So the chat will get quite small, but it's a bit of a trade-off for people that run into that problem. We do find that tends to help. And then the second issue people commonly run into, oh, actually, you know what? The second issue won't be an issue today because we're doing things a little differently. So that should be the only real one you run into. Oh, yeah, and Ryan has just mentioned you don't need to go to your chat yet, or sorry, your lab yet. But if you do go to your lab, you'll notice there's a command prompt open. We just made a change to the machines. That wasn't supposed to show up, but it did, and it's fine. You can just click or enter in capital Y for yes, and then hit enter, and it will run and finish. And in fact, I think if you don't do that, it doesn't even matter. But just in case you're wondering why you're seeing that, that's the reason. Now I'll bring that up again when we get to the actual lab. Okay, so let's move on to the next section and talk about the FME Academy. We'll be using the FME Academy to deliver the instructions for the training today. So all of the step-by-step text and images and screenshots to help you do the exercises will be provided through the FME Academy. The FME Academy is the home for all things FME training. It's where you can sign up for live courses and take on-demand courses. You can also learn about and apply for our FME certifications through the Academy. For those of you that haven't taken training with us in a while, you would note that the Academy has changed a bit. So starting in October, we launched on a new platform, and we've sort of centralized a few of the different things that we had previously in different parts of the website. Should all be able to find all of that now on academy.safe.com. The FME Academy is free to take courses, but it does require an FME community account. So if you already have one of those, all you have to do is log in. And in fact, some of you might already be logged in because it is possible to sign up and access these live courses through the FME Academy. Here's a link to the what's called learning path that we'll be working through today, called FME Form Basic. That will have all the content for the course. I'll also point out that this content is available always. So it is available after the course is done. If you don't finish working on things while we're doing the live course, you can access this afterwards. So let me show you a little bit what this will look like. When you get there, you'll see a register free button, which you can click to register for the course. At that point, if you're not already logged into the FME community, you'll be prompted to do so. So if you already have an FME community or an old FME Academy account, they're the same thing. You can log in using your existing credentials. If you don't have an FME community account, you can click the sign up button to get signed up. You can also SSO if you'd like, using a third party like GitHub, Google, or LinkedIn. If you are just signing up for the first time, you'll probably need to confirm your email, and then you'll be taken to the Safe Account page to finalize your account settings. All of these are optional, so you don't actually have to fill that stuff in if you don't feel like it. Once you get to the Academy and are able to access the FME Form basic learning path, you'll see the list of the different sections of the course we'll be covering. Like I mentioned, we'll be covering the first two today: why data integration and connect to data. So let's take a few minutes now and get everyone set up so they can access the FME Academy. You should basically end up on the landing page for the why data integration course, and it should say that you're registered. This will be the first set of content we work through. We've put a little screenshot here in the STO slides, which shows there are these left and right arrow buttons on the STO slides. And so just like you can navigate to your lab while I'm talking, you can also change the slides independently. So if you'd like to navigate and see the instructions for how to access the FME Academy, you can just hit that left arrow button and go back to review those instructions. But again, pretty straightforward. I'll put the link in one more time. Just go to that link on the Academy, sign up for the learning path. If you need to get a FME community account, you can create one now, or if you already have one, you can log in and you should be able to access it. So let's give everyone 5 to 10 minutes to go ahead and do that. Please make sure you are signed up and logged in to the FME Academy and can access the course page. If you have any questions, let us know here in the chat, or you can use that call for assistance button on your lab. And I guess, yeah, I should say you can open this on your lab if you want, this link, but it's actually probably better to just open this on your local machine, because generally it will just be a little more responsive and faster, and you'll stay, logged in after the course as well, because these machines that we use each day are wiped, that you'll get a new machine each day. So I'd recommend really just logging into this on your local machine. That will probably work better for you than doing it on your STO machine. So go ahead and get signed up for the Academy. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll regroup in 5 to 10 minutes. Thanks.